What you feel, think, and believe internally has more power over your life than you might imagine. What you see around you, the reality you experience, is not just what is in front of your eyes. It is a true projection of what you accept as truth inside your mind. Everything you are living now, your achievements, challenges, relationships, even the difficulties that seem endless, could be happening because you have simply accepted a view of reality as true. What happens in your mind, in the background, is more powerful than you imagine. It is something much deeper than magic. It is your subconscious mind. It has the power to transform everything you know, without you even realizing it. And the most surprising part is that you can use this to your advantage, in a simple and effective way. The reality you desire already exists, but it can only materialize when your mind is aligned with it. The first step is not to act, not to chase something outside of you. The first step is to change the way you relate to the world inside your mind. What you accept as truth in your subconscious determines the events that happen in your life, whether in relationships, career success, or even health. Every thought, every feeling charged with belief is a magnet that attracts into your life experiences that resonate with these deep ideas. At this moment, perhaps something inside you begins to question, if I can access this power, what can I achieve? But even with a question like this, the answer is within your own mind. As I said, what you think, feel, and even what you experience is being shaped by something much greater than you imagine. If you haven't noticed yet, I need to tell you that this is a reality that is within your reach. And maybe you just need to learn how to consciously activate it. What I am going to share with you today is a secret that can literally change the way you see and approach life. The subconscious mind not only stores memories and past experiences, it is actually the force that governs and directs much of our daily lives. In other words, what you believe, even unconsciously, not only influences your perception of the world but literally creates the reality you experience. And the most intriguing part of it all is that often we don't even realize we are being guided by these hidden beliefs. Joseph Murphy, in his renowned book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, says that what your conscious mind assumes to be true, your subconscious mind accepts and makes it happen. The conscious mind may have its doubts, but the subconscious mind, when fed with a solid belief, accepts it as truth and starts to create a reality that aligns with that truth. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to always attract the same situations, even if they try to change their approach or behavior? This happens because the subconscious mind is always at work, shaping reality according to the beliefs and thoughts you nurture, whether consciously or not. The subconscious doesn't judge, it simply accepts what is fed to it. For example, if you believe that success is something hard to achieve, your subconscious will work tirelessly to ensure you stay aligned with that belief, creating obstacles or situations that reinforce that vision. But just as limiting beliefs can be implanted without our knowledge, they can also be reprogrammed. And this is where the key to shaping the reality you want comes in. The first step is recognizing that the external reality is nothing but a reflection of what has been accepted internally. No matter how much you fight against external circumstances, the real battle takes place in your mind. The things you accept as truth might be building every day a reality that doesn't align with your potential or deepest desires. And the power of transformation lies exactly there, in recognizing that what you believe is what you create, and in doing so, you begin to have full control over your experience. As we begin to perceive the deep connection between what we believe internally and the reality we manifest, a fundamental question arises. How can we break this automatic cycle of thoughts and beliefs that shape our reality? The surprisingly simple answer lies in conscious observation. This practice doesn't involve any forced effort or rigid control over thoughts. On the contrary, it's a technique of pure attention and acceptance, without judgment. When we observe ourselves consciously, we are, in fact, distancing ourselves from the identification with the thoughts and emotions that arise within us. Normally, we tend to get involved with every thought, especially the negative ones, treating them as part of who we are. However, by taking the position of an observer, we realize that these thoughts and emotions do not define us. They are merely transient phenomena that arise and disappear, and their persistence depends solely on our reaction to them. Some thoughts might seem heavy and dark, but if you don't cling to them, they will dissipate. This is conscious observation, an invitation to be present with what arises without getting involved. There is no need to react or try to change what's happening inside you. When we practice this form of observation, we begin to perceive the transformative power that resides in simply not reacting. This allows the mind to be cleansed of limiting beliefs and repetitive patterns, without us needing to fight against them. The great key to this practice is understanding that by observing without identifying, you begin to access a state of inner peace. The simple act of noticing a thought without judging or trying to alter it is already a step toward freedom, and this freedom, in turn, opens up space for profound and lasting transformation. It's as if, by not feeding the energy of the thought, you create a pause, a space between what arises and how you choose to respond. This space is where real change happens, where the old pattern begins to naturally fade away. Through conscious observation, you begin to realize that the thoughts and emotions that once seemed to have control over you now become observable and therefore manipulable. It's not that they disappear immediately, but by not reacting to them, you allow time to take care of dissolving them, a little at a time. That's what transformation is about. It doesn't come with effort or struggle, but with acceptance of the present moment, without needing to hold on to past stories or future fears. When you begin practicing this observation, life becomes more fluid and lighter. Without the constant internal battle, obstacles seem to disappear naturally, leaving space for a more authentic experience aligned with your true self. The human mind tends to be a constant battlefield where old thought patterns and emotions collide, shaping the way we see the world. These patterns, which have been built throughout our lives, often emerge automatically, and many times they drag us into repetitive cycles of suffering and limitation. And as a result, we try to resist this mental battle. But what if we didn't react? Reactivity is the immediate impulse to respond to something that affects us, whether a thought, emotion, or external situation. This impulse leads us to react automatically, often without thinking, maintaining the existing patterns and reinforcing limiting beliefs. When we react to a negative thought or uncomfortable emotion, we are, in fact, validating that belief and allowing it to grow stronger. As a result, our mind becomes more tied to the past rather than opening space for the new. However, instead of responding automatically to thoughts or emotions, we can choose to simply observe them, without judgment, without identifying with them. Non-reaction is not a form of suppression or denial. It's about stepping back, acknowledging them without allowing them to govern our mind. This act of non-reaction creates an internal space where the mind can purify and cease being a reflection of what we believe to be true. Instead of reacting to limiting thoughts, you create a new relationship with them. There is no longer identification, no more energy invested in them, and, over time, they begin to lose their power. This mental purification process is one of the most effective ways to create a new reality, as the mind begins to be free of beliefs and thoughts that previously restricted it. This makes you no longer at the mercy of your thoughts or emotions, You take control of your mind, allowing it to become a powerful tool to create the reality you wish to live. When we talk about the power of the mind, we often refer to the ability to transform thoughts into reality. But this transformation doesn't happen magically or instantly. It occurs through a continuous process, where the conscious mind begins to align with the internal vision, the one we hold in our subconscious. And what we often lack is the understanding that the change of reality is directly connected to the reprogramming of the subconscious. This is where autosuggestion comes in. Over the years, many scholars, including Joseph Murphy, have emphasized the importance of this powerful tool. Autosuggestion is not simply repeating words or phrases. It's about intentionally imprinting a new vision of yourself and the world, creating an internal belief that aligns with what you want to see manifested. It is a deep practice of mental reprogramming that tunes in with the deepest beliefs of your psyche. The process begins with the recognition that our mind, especially the subconscious, is like a sponge, absorbing everything we accept as truth. What you affirm to yourself repeatedly, with emotion and conviction, starts to be internalized as a fact by your subconscious mind. This can be both a conscious and unconscious process. For example, if you constantly say to yourself, "I'm not capable of this," or "I'll never be able to achieve my goals," you are feeding a limiting belief, which eventually manifests in your reality. Now imagine the opposite. If you start suggesting with the same intensity and emotion, positive and constructive affirmations like, "I am capable of achieving everything I desire," or "My life is constantly expanding and prospering," these suggestions will begin to take root in your subconscious. They will shape your perception and eventually your external reality. This is what happens when you truly begin to align with your deepest desires and continuously reaffirm them to yourself as an absolute truth. The constant practice of autosuggestion creates a space where your brain starts to act in accordance with the new beliefs. The subconscious, not having the ability to distinguish between the real and what is repeated as truth, begins to shape your behavior, emotions, and even actions to meet the new beliefs you have implemented. When we practice this continuously, with persistence and conviction, we begin to notice that changes don't only happen on the mental or emotional level, but in our tangible life. What we see in the world around us is a direct manifestation of what we believe is possible for ourselves. And by changing these beliefs through autosuggestion, we create a new reality, more aligned with our desires and with the unlimited potential that already exists within us. But you may be wondering, how can I apply this in my day-to-day life? Well, the secret lies in establishing a simple and direct process that you can easily incorporate into your routine. This doesn't require any special skill or enormous effort, but rather a change in perspective and action. The practice of observing without reacting and reprogramming the mind is a process of taking control of our internal experience before it controls what we see in the external world. I'll share with you a simple step-by-step guide so you can apply all this knowledge effectively. The first step is to develop awareness of what is happening internally. Often, the human mind gets distracted, traveling into the past or worrying about the future. This awareness comes from observing what arises in the mind. The goal here is not to stop thinking or suppress emotions. It's simply to take a step back and notice what's happening within you without letting it dictate your actions. The key here is to create distance between the stimulus and your reaction. So start practicing this in simple moments, like while having a cup of coffee or walking. Ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What am I really feeling right now? Where does this thought come from? Remember, the key here is neutrality. The second step is to recognize limiting thoughts. Now that you have awareness, begin to identify the limiting thoughts that arise. They might be subtle or obvious, but the important thing is to recognize them without judgment. It might be a thought like, "This is not possible for me," or "I'll never be able to do this." When you notice this kind of thought, don't react to it. Instead of engaging with or believing it, just observe it. When you recognize the thought without identifying with it, you create a space between you and the thought, between the stimulus and your reaction, which weakens its hold over you. This simple act of observation is a huge step toward reprogramming, because as you observe yourself consciously, you begin to notice old patterns and limiting beliefs that have been hiding in the shadows of your mind. These automatic thoughts, which you would normally accept as part of who you are, begin to lose their strength. This is the first step to change, the awareness that you are not your thoughts, nor your reactions. You are the observer, the creator of your internal reality. The third step is reprogramming. This is the moment when autosuggestion comes into play. After observing your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them, you can start replacing the old limiting beliefs with new affirmations or visions more aligned with what you want to create. For example, if the thought that arises is, "I'm not good enough," replace it with an affirmation like, "I am capable of achieving whatever I set out to do because I am worthy of success." Repeat this affirmation mentally, feeling the truth behind it. It's not just about saying the words, it's about truly believing and feeling these words as you repeat them. The constant practice of these affirmations, not as empty repetition but with emotion and conviction, begins to change the mental connections in your brain, reprogramming the subconscious to accept this new reality as true. But all the practice of observation, identification, and substitution should be done continuously. Throughout the day, you will begin to notice the moments when old thought patterns arise, and with that, the opportunities for reprogramming. The trick is to be aware of these moments and act consciously to interrupt the automatic cycles. This is not a one-time exercise, but a daily practice that over time will become natural and increasingly powerful. It may take some time before you start seeing concrete results, but over time, you'll realize that the old patterns no longer have the same power over you. They will begin to disappear, replaced by a new way of thinking and acting, more aligned with your deepest desires. But to ensure that this practice is effective, create specific moments during your day to focus on active reprogramming. It could be when you wake up, before you sleep, or even during everyday activities like walking or having a meal. Use these moments to calmly and consciously reinforce the affirmations and beliefs you want to cultivate. This doesn't need to be a long moment, but a dedicated instant for your inner transformation. The process is simple, but deep, because when we change our mindset, our behaviors and perceptions adjust, and this causes a change in interactions, opportunities, and even circumstances we encounter. If you begin to see yourself as someone capable, for example, of creating abundance, not only will your behavior change, but also the situations around you will begin to reflect this new belief. What once seemed distant and unattainable now becomes possible, because your subconscious mind begins to work in harmony with your new vision, attracting experiences aligned with that internal reality. The world around you is constantly adapting, responding to how you perceive yourself and what you believe is possible. When you change your internal perception, the external reflection also adjusts, like a mirror responding to each new thought and belief you manifest. So remember, true transformation starts from within. And as we align our thoughts and actions with this internal change, the external reality inevitably responds to that. This connection between the internal and external is the key to understanding the power of the subconscious mind. Because when you change your deepest beliefs, you're not just changing your mentality, but transforming your reality. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with others so they can benefit from this message. And don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, reflections, and experiences. Thanks again for watching and for joining me. Take care and see you soon.